Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open for Business. You know what? Tonight we have a rock star. A rock star in our area, and she's representing Tarpon Total Health out of Tarpon Springs. And you know what? That man has saved my life. He made it where I could walk. But right now, we're going to bring on Anjel Renee. How you doing, girl?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me on here. This is great.
Well, I'm making you pay, so it's all good. You know, everybody shows up, got to pay. I have known Dr. John longer than you've known Dr.
True.
John.
Very
Now,
true.
That man literally made it where I could walk because I had surgery a long time ago, and
Right.
he got me back to going. I walked in one day and I'm like, I can't walk. And then when I do walk, it hurts. I got a burn and blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, let's see what we can do. And man, it took a while. It wasn't overnight, but man, he did it. He did it well. And how long have you been with Dr. John?
So I met him. It was right before the pandemic. Actually, no, it was in the middle of the pandemic. I started with him on November 1st
Right.
of 2020.
2020?
2020. Yeah,
Oh
I'm going
boy,
into
yeah,
my
it was
third year.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? Honestly,
Okay.
don't give me the canned response. Oh, he's awesome.
I
He's
don't
super
have
cool.
canned responses. Have you met me?
Yeah, I have. That's why I like having you on here.
So I started my own chiropractic journey in 2012. I lived up in Indiana. I got married, moved to Indiana, got divorced, stayed there
In Indiana.
for a couple. Yeah, because of Indiana.
Yes, in Indiana.
But so that particular year in 2011, we had gotten 22 inches of snow
Yeah.
on top of two
Yes.
sheets of black ice.
Yes, you did.
And the employer that I had, I affectionately refer to them as the Nazi war camp of nuns.
Oh my.
I sent a picture of, the outdoor, and my manager had said, "Are you coming in?" So I was like,
Wow.
right. So I couldn't. I drove a little tiny little Chevy Aveo. It looks like a baby's shoe.
Yes.
So there's no I couldn't get out my driveway. So my roommate had a snowblower.
The snow's up to your windshield.
Literally. And I took pictures of it.
Right.
I figured, well, he's got the snowblower, I've got a shovel. That was the year that I turned 40.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little while ago.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, well, you know what? God's providing the refrigeration.
Right.
I'm making drinks.
Yeah.
So made drinks, set them in the snow right on the top of my hood, put pictures on Facebook, thought it was hysterical. He's got the snowblower and I'm out there shoveling. And I've always been very healthy,
Right.
thank God. And I was like, man, I don't even feel 40. And he says, you better calm down. Don't say that. Don't say that out loud, because the little G gods are listening. And they were listening. And so I woke up the next morning, and from the bottom of my ear all the way to the end of my shoulder was completely solid space. Not only was it swollen, like I woke up and I went to get up and I was like, what's going on?
Right.
And I went to the bathroom, and so it looked like torticollis.
Yep.
Freaked out. Sent a selfie to my manager, and I was like, I think I have a problem. And she's like,
You coming in? Wow.
that looks painful.
Right.
Are you saying you're going to be late? And I was like, oh my gosh, they paid me really good money. And so I didn't, and I'm single, so nobody's taking care of me but me. So I drive like this. I'm like, please don't know. I can't look at anything over here.
I can't turn.
Not at all. So when I got there, then she's like, oh, maybe you should be seen by a doctor. What did you think? I photoshopped this?
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
Right. So, but we had really good insurance.
Yeah.
Pulled up my insurance and I put in neck pain. That's all I did. Sent me to a chiropractor. Thank God. Because if it would have sent me to my primary care, the first thing they would have done is sent me to the ER. They would have had me on pain meds.
Yep.
And, who knows what could have been my fate
Right.
had that been my first stop. So this chiropractor was wonderful. Took him, I was seeing him 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Could not miss my appointment. I missed one appointment, did not do that again.
Yep.
So it was rigorous. I had massage therapy, of course. They did physical therapy in-house as well. So I got back pretty much like 90%.
Nice.
It would just be that one, I'd move my shoulder this way.
One certain way. You're like, oh.
Yeah. It was bad. So fast forward, moved from Indiana down here.
And
And
you're making my neck hurt. Oh my God.
so I learned that all chiropractors are not created equally.
No, they're not.
As it turns out, just like anything else.
Yep.
And but I've always had good chiropractic care.
Yeah.
And the standard was that guy. And so the ones that I had after that, they were good. They weren't him,
Right.
but they were good.
Yep.
Nobody hurt me.
Right.
Because I've heard stories that are
Yep.
scary.
Been there.
So I went to one, and like there was nothing that was happening. It was good care. It wasn't great. I was having some issues with this one again. And he just wasn't able to do anything for it. So I looked on YouTube, and I learned some exercises on some rotation and stuff, and that helped. I'm working for another company, and I got headhunted. A friend of mine who knew Dr. John, used to work for him, had a position open. She said, well, you really need to go. I had stepped out of the medical field. I've been in the medical field for, going into 20 years.
Right.
And so...
since you were like 2.
Right. Thank you so much. And so I met with him. And so it's, Huey, I don't know why I didn't Google him. I was expecting a much different person based on the spelling of his name.
Right.
Turns out he's Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is true what they say about the Canadians. I'm telling you, he is the nicest. And dudes don't really talk about dudes this way, but he is the kindest, sweetest guy you will ever meet.
Truly.
I mean,
Truly.
ever meet.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if I strive to be any nicer, I want to be like Dr. John, because that is one of the nicest guys I have ever met in my life.
Yeah. He doesn't speak ill of people.
No.
He just won't say anything.
No.
He just won't.
Yep.
Genuinely kind for the sake of being kind.
Yep.
Which is one of the value points that that just grows,
Yep.
over the last 2.5 years. But so when I met with him, we had to meet a couple of times, and I'm like, man, I live all the way up in Spring Hill. It's 36 miles from driveway to
So
driveway.
when did you move to Florida?
Oh gosh, I came back
After
here.
the 4 feet of snow?
Oh God, I know why people move to Florida, because you don't have to shovel sand. Not like that.
No, you just got to do hurricanes. That's all.
I moved back down here to take care of my mom,
Okay, gotcha.
and then she passed away
And you
8 years
stayed.
ago this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, but everything in life is a journey, right? And so this journey has probably been one of the greatest parts of my 40 plus years of a story in the making. So when we agreed, I'm going to work for him, and I started working for him. Well, I was seeing a chiropractor, and a good one over in Land O'Lakes, close to my farm.
Right.
And I thought, well, my gosh, I got to know what this guy's all about. I can't be out, telling people how great Dr. Huey is when I know
If you don't know
nothing.
he's great, right?
So I told him, I said, I need to go through the new patient process from start to finish, cut no corners. I want to be treated as if I just walked in the door and this is a scheduled appointment. So we did that. And I was thinking the whole time, please don't suck. Please don't suck. Because if he sucks, I got to quit. I can't promote
tell
somebody.
people that he's good and he
Right.
sucks.
I'm not going to lie.
But he does not.
No.
And none of the other doctors in there suck either.
Yeah, exactly. So I tell people, our exam doctor is Dr. Gerard Bogan.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic guy. Man, a few words. So when he speaks, like you really want to pay attention to what he says. The most thorough exam I have ever had without having to take my clothes off.
Right.
Honest to goodness.
No, yeah.
And the way that he asks, he's very good at just making you feel comfortable. So you just, explain to him things that happen. Have you ever been in a car accident? One person forgot that they had been thrown from a horse. We've heard some really crazy stories.
How do you forget something like that?
So honest to goodness, that's a large part of chiropractic care. You forget until you remember. And that's part of my story. So we go through the whole thing. TJ takes me back for x-rays. TJ's been with us for 12, 13 years.
Yep.
And Dr. John takes me back. And we don't, you don't print out the films anymore. It's on the screen. So he blew up the screen and he went, huh. Well, that's not a good way to start this appointment. And I said, what is that all? What are you doing that for? And he said, I bet you have migraines. And I said, I put that on the new patient paperwork. You don't, you're not getting me.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm a skeptical person.
Right.
And even though I've had excellent experiences with chiropractic care. I'm a skeptical person.
Yep.
And so I don't know him. You're not getting me. And he says, well, I've not looked at your new patient paperwork, if I'm being honest. It jades me. I want to look at the films.
He wants to see what the films say. Because they'll tell him everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's funny because he says your spine don't lie. Yep. Your hips don't either, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so it was something that he said. So he said, he showed me right where it was, and it's in my C1 too. And he said that the injury, he says, whatever the injury was, it wasn't a car accident, which I haven't been in one. He said, it's very interesting how your body healed itself around that injury point, but your migraines, I would expect would be very, very bad, and they would be very, very frequent, monthly probably. And I'm like,
holy cow,
what the hell?
Yeah.
Because it's true. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, how is he knowing this about me? And I've not told him anything. He knows nothing about me.
Right.
And so then I'm trying to sit there and think, like, how does he know this? And he says, you were about 20 what? He said, 20 years old. 20 years old when what? He said, when whatever happened.
Whatever happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might have been 21. You definitely were not 22. And you weren't under 20. You were 20 years old. And I'm like, what kind of voodoo is that? And so I started thinking, and I was like, what in the world did I do when I was 20? Okay. Well, all right. Well, I got married. It was when I was 19. I had my son. I was 19, was 20. Oh my God. And he said, okay, stop. Because people forget until they remember.
Right.
I've never forgotten that. The healing components of chiropractic care goes much deeper than a spinal adjustment. Mm-hmm. And this is where this is what separates chiropractors from other chiropractors. Right. And I've got experience with others. Mm-hmm. So he said, before you tell me anything, okay, if it was a domestic, don't tell me that.
Right.
Nobody should put their hands on a woman. It just, it shouldn't. Right. I was like, okay, you got brownie points for that. I appreciated that. And I said, well, in all honesty, my abuser is dead. Yeah. And, but I was 20 years old. And I can speak about it openly. It's part of my testimony, honestly. Right. My dad, and he's deceased now, and we were able to get things as right could be before he passed away. Right. But at that time, my dad was a drug addict and alcoholic. And by the time you're questioning, is he drunk? Yes, he is. And you need to figure out an exit strategy. So my baby would look just more like my dad than me, was in between us. My dad take me to the store. We were down, my husband and I had one vehicle. And so he's like, well, I'll take you to the store. We were on our way back and he was weaving, and I looked at him. I said, are you drunk? And he had fire in his eyes. Well, my dad had always been abusive. Okay. So, but I thought, I'm married, I've got a baby, I am immune. Right. Like, he's not going to do this anymore. No. So it turned out that was a wrong way to think. Wrong thing to say. He got so angry that he backhanded me this part of his. So we went this way. We're in a small cab of a Chevy truck. Mm-hmm. He hit me so hard in my temple that when my head hit the glass, it cracked the glass. Yeah. Migraines ever since. But I'd never made the connection. The only connection I could make was, how can I connect with another state?
Almost like he gave you whiplash.
Yes. So actually, that Dr. John said, usually we see things like this because it's from a car accident, but that's just not what yours was. So anyway, he said, I know exactly what you need, but before we take care of your neck, we're going to take care of your hips. What's wrong with my hips? And he says, well, you have an abnormal gait. I know what abnormal gait means. I work for a neurologist. I know what that means. And he said, walk down the hallway, walk back. So I did. Fine. Lay down on your stomach, lift your right leg, lift your left leg. Left leg was fine. Right leg, that was the little pain point. So he did an adjustment on my hips, had me walk back down the hallway. Dang, if I ain't been walking like Bone Thugs and Harmony for, 20 years, I didn't even realize that there was something wrong with my walk. And so now I can tell immediately. I know exactly when it is.
When you're kind of off. And
so when he adjusted my neck, not even kidding you, I've not had one single migraine ever since. Not one.
So let's talk about everything. Well, I know we don't have time.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about, we got 10 minutes. Let's talk about everything. Well, what you can talk about, what he does there. Because real quick, when I went in there, yep, I had problems. My hips were off. Everything was out of line. My back was jacked because mine is the L4, L5 area, right? Yeah. But the first thing he made me do is do a food journal. And I'm like, why am I doing a food journal? You're here to crack me, blah, 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 my brain. And then he's the one that got me. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee now, but before, oh my God, I was 3 or 4 pots a day by myself.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah, I was drinking it like it was water. I never drank water ever. It was all coffee or sweet tea.
God,
and some soda.
You were wired like a squirrel on crack.
But I never ate anything.
Oh yeah,
coffee. My food was. I mean, after he made me do that, and I started paying attention, I'm like, holy crap, I don't eat anything. I mean, I'll eat food, but I don't eat like I should. So, right. But he got me back off of coffee, more onto food, and then when he worked, it was awesome. I mean, I was there about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Yeah. And by the end of that, and for me, that was not, to me, it should have gone longer. Yeah. Probably could have gone longer, but I got super busy and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, but anyway, let's get into what you guys do.
So he is a board certified nutritionist.
Right.
And what I did not realize in my medical profession, not on the clinical side, on the clerical side, running offices and stuff, but, I did, chart reviews and things like that. So I know what it is that I'm reading. I did not realize that doctors, not even general practice physicians, know anything about nutrition.
Don't know anything.
Nothing.
Nope.
And
they want to give you pills and crap like that instead of Dr. John works on you. Let's fix your diet.
Yeah.
Because that'll fix, amazing how that will fix a
myriad of things. Yeah. Yep. Garbage in, garbage out.
That's right.
But when garbage comes in, garbage stays.
Yeah.
They're just like Klingons, and they just, so then your gut issues, that's like your second brain in your body. So he addresses that, as it's almost like it's a parallel walk with his chiropractic care. You're not just going to come in and to have your spinal adjustments. He's going to be talking with you about other level 10 areas of your life. And if you can change this, but if you don't change this,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's the one. Matter of fact, I was going to podiatrist a lot because I kept tearing all my tendons in my feet. He's like, you're wearing the wrong shoes. They never said, hey, you're wearing the wrong shoes. I mean, they said, hey, these are better shoes for you, but they never said to me, those are the wrong shoes. He was working on my back and my hips. He goes, those are the wrong shoes. Stop wearing those.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay.
It's like I'm sitting there going, what kind of doctor are you? I mean, I know you're a back cracker and crap. I mean, when I tell you I know a lot of chiropractors, I know a lot of chiropractors, but if Dr. John says this is what you need to do, that's the one man. When he says this is what you got to do, that's what I do.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I don't even really bother. I'm a researcher through and through.
Me too.
But if he says these are the supplements that you need to take, so I'm taking them. Yeah. I'm taking them, and I can tell when I run out.
Yep.
And I get lazy and I'm not taking them. Whatever he says to do, I do. So I did his nutritional counseling. I started last year, and 36 pounds I lost under just listening to him, and that wasn't doing anything crazy
to lose any weight. But okay.
Well. I did. I definitely did. But when I did what he told me to do, the brain fog that I have always suffered from horribly, I was diagnosed as ADHD. Now I'm squirrely, but I got a lot of energy just naturally.
Yeah.
And
I've been around you. I know.
I'm an inquisitive girl. And so that, I believe, honestly, looks like ADHD when it's really not.
Right.
But when I changed my eating habits and I just listened to good nutritional guidance, 36 pounds.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That changed a lot of things for me.
Blows my mind that, and when I moved out of Tarpon, it's like I got lazy and I stopped going down there. So, but I've got to get my rear end back down there because he's the only guy that's ever really truly fixed what was wrong with me. So,
well, and explains it in a way.
Can't fix this, but he's fixing this. You know what I'm saying?
He explains it in a way like a lot of doctors like to. This is where they hang out.
Well, they need to be smart, and they want you. Yeah. They got that God complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does not. He's like just one of the guys, and this is what you need to do, and if you don't, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's in, and it comes from, I mean, he's a smart guy, but he is a compassionate guy.
That's what I'm saying, man. I've never met a more kinder, sweeter person in my life. The dude is just awesome, right? I know one thing that I do like about you guys is I don't have to leave for x-rays or all that. Like a lot of times you go somewhere, oh, go get an x-ray. Well, now I'm like, oh, great.
Another
now I've got to
place I
go.
gotta go.
Right, I got to go. He doesn't, but you guys have the live. That is, to me, that is just the coolest thing in the world.
So that's the digital motion x-ray.
Yep.
We are the only chiropractic office that has a standalone. And that doesn't hold very much of a value point to a lot of people to hear it. But example, my husband, 6'7".
Yeah.
The only way that you can get this DMX, other than at our office, is to go to one of their van spots. So chiropractors, a chiropractor will say they'll have like 5 patients that need to have DMX.
Yep.
And so they'll order the van to come to their location. My husband he ain't getting in no van to get a scan. It's not going to happen.
I don't think they make a van that tall, do they?
Yeah, it's questionable.
Yeah,
it's questionable.
right. He's a tall dude.
He's a tall guy.
Tall dude.
So it's adjustable. It's fully adjustable in our office. And so the difference is like, Polaroid versus video. And so as you're moving, you're actually able to see the pain points in motion.
Yeah.
So and to be able to actually identify the range of motion, you can't get that in a static picture. But we have the standard x-ray like other chiropractors, which by the way, because all the chiropractors I've ever, used before, they did x-rays on me. I thought that was a standard. It is not. It is not a standard practice with all chiropractors.
Not down here.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's like applying guesswork to your area of expertise.
Yeah. I had a guy the other day. He's a chiropractor local, and he's a nice guy. And I'm like, well, okay, so do you do MRIs? Do you do x-rays? And he goes, I don't need x-rays. I can come in and sit here and I can did it and I can tell you what's wrong. I'm like, wow, you're good, because like he must have Superman x-rays and go, there you go. There's your problem.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you should be touched if you don't know exactly what the problem is.
We have a young lady that she comes in from time to time. And of course, obviously I can't say her name, but she's well known. And she tells her story like wildfire, which I, of course, appreciate very much. But so she came and she had messaged me and she's like, listen, I've heard you say a number of times you don't have migraines anymore because of Dr. John. I've not been able to get rid of this blinding migraine for like 3 days. Can you get me in? I'm like, can you drive? Like, how are you going to get here?
Right.
So she got there. And, but I know what that migraine looks like. You got to be in a dark room and cold. Don't talk to me. The sound of my own voice makes me just want to, yes, it's terrible. Yep. So, and of course she was stiff.
Yeah.
And so Dr. John said, definitely taking her back to do x-rays. Her x-rays looked funny. And he says, how long have you been under chiropractic care? And she's like, oh, off and on for, oh my gosh, 20 years or so.
Right.
And he said, well, when did you last get adjusted? She's like, a couple of months ago. And he said, did they do x-rays on you? She said, well, they did, but the one before him didn't. And he said, they did a neck adjustment on you? And she said, oh, yeah. And he says, bet you popped a migraine right after that. And she said, yeah, actually, I did. But the chiropractor told me that sometimes, when you get an adjustment, kind of like when you go and get a medical massage, like, oh, it hurts so good. Yeah, right. But it's going to hurt and then you're going to feel better, right? Yeah. And he said, so how long did it take you to feel better? And she said, oh, I can't actually remember. He said, yeah, you can never, ever, ever let a chiropractor adjust your neck. And so after he put her on DMX and he was able to show her why that was. There tremendous amount of, she'd been in like 7 car accidents and over the span of like, since she was 7 years old. So how would you have known that had you not done at least static x-rays first? It's applying guesswork to your spine. If you're a brand new person and you're just walking, I don't know you from nowhere. And I'm not touching a good chiropractor. And this is an arguable point with many chiropractors, and it's fine. I'll argue it all day long. Yeah. And I'm not a chiropractor myself. Right. But a good chiropractor is not going to touch you unless they know the current condition of your spine from the inside out. And there's no other way you can know that.
There you go. So where's Tarpon Total Health located? I know where it's at, but tell everybody at home where it's located.
So we are at 400 East Tarpon Avenue. From your location, It's less than 10 miles, John. So
Yes.
less than 10
But
miles.
it can take me 30 minutes to get there.
That's
Have
true.
you driven 19? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm really hoping that they will get the transporters fixed one day so we can just transport wherever we want to go.
Listen, if you can beam me up, Scotty, they're going to have some
Right?
other type of
Telling
technology
ya.
that can beam up your spine too.
So what's the phone number to get a hold of you guys?
So the office number is area code 727-934-0844. I also put my number out there as well. I schedule patients. Gosh, I scheduled 3 patients on Christmas.
There you go.
I am the bridge from with the community to our office. I love talking about chiropractic care. I love specifically talking to people that are terrified of chiropractors.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bad experience, or their Aunt Betty did, and Aunt Betty won't stop talking about how
Right.
she's
Yeah.
stuck like this because
Yeah.
of a chiropractor,
Right.
and you know.
So I got 20 seconds.
Good.
What about insurance?
We take most of the insurances.
Okay.
We do insurance verification ahead of time. We're a Medicare
Nice.
provider. Call me. We will take care of it
All
from
right,
there.
awesome. So look, everybody at home, if you're not feeling right, if you just don't, health-wise, overall, you need to go see this man. Go see Dr. John. Go see Anjel. You will never feel better, I'm telling you, if you don't do it.
If your head, neck, or back hurts like hell, you should really call Anjel with Tarpon
There you
Total
go.
Healthcare.
See everybody next week. Bye-bye.